Yo, 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 what up, though? This is your boy, Chris B. Daniels, and you people are now on Show and Talk. So, tonight's movie, we will be talking about The Karate Kid, which came out in 1984, and it stars Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi and Ralph Macchio as Daniel fucking LaRusso. You know what I'm saying? So, man, when I first saw this movie, it was years ago, because as a kid you really don't remember too much, but this was one of the movies that I remembered, you know what I mean? So I feel like, it's not the original Underdog story, but in my opinion it's like one of the first that I ever saw, you know what I mean? Like, it's a great film. If you ain't seen it, check it out. But this will be one of 3 Karate Kid movies that I reviewed throughout, the next few weeks. So I've been meaning to get around to these movies, because if you've never seen this, I know a lot of people who view my videos are young, so you probably seen a remake with Jackie Chan, which I don't even know why they called it The Karate Kid. He's not even learning karate, he's learning kung fu, you know what I'm saying? So, and he's in China. But, I'm gonna get around to that movie too. I haven't seen it. I only seen it like one time, so I haven't really, and that was like years ago, so I really don't remember too much about it. So, but yeah, basically the synopsis of this story is, Daniel and his mother moved from New Jersey to California to a raggedy dump in Reseda. You know what I mean? I guess his mother, she got a new job and she's really looking forward to it, but Daniel's not, you know what I mean? So when they get there, he meets his first friend, which is also his neighbor in the complex. And the guy invites him to a pool party. So, I guess that's one thing, to look forward to after spending hours on the road or whatever. But, so this takes place the next day. And I guess it's the last day before school starts, because when they're on the beach, they playing soccer, and supposedly, I guess he's an expert, because he knows how to bounce the ball off his knee and all that. I can't do that for shit. So, but yeah, what happens is later on in the night, he meets Allie. She's over there with her girls, he's over there with his boys, and they, kicking the ball around or whatever, still doing their thing. But, he's shy, he don't want to talk to her, and she keeps giving him the looks, and he's giving her the look. So it's just like, yo, get your ass up and go talk to her, man. So he finally does. And next thing you know, here comes Johnny and his boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, cop blocking Johnny, you know what I'm saying? So they go down there to confront, Allie and Daniel. Well, at first it was just about Allie, you know what I'm saying? He's mad because she's over here talking to him. And then Daniel decides to step in, you know what I mean? Because this motherfucker got mad and broke her damn radio and shit. You know what I mean? Yo, Johnny was a piece of shit in the beginning, man. I gotta be honest. So, Daniel stands up to him. He winds up getting his ass whooped, though, because I'm like, yo, bro, what are you thinking, man? Like, well, he didn't know, but Johnny was an experienced martial artist or whatever. So, oh, man, after that. And the fucked up part about that is, though, is when, he's out there, he thinking those are his boys or whatever, who's egging him on to fight Johnny in the first place. And when Johnny whoops his ass and leaves him on the ground, these motherfuckers decide to go ahead and just walk off and leave him. Like, talking about, where did you find this guy? Like, yo, y'all knew good and goddamn well that this dude was an experienced martial artist, and you gonna put this kid up against him? Like, seriously? So, the next morning, Daniel tries to leave out for school, and then his mother, wants something to eat, but he's trying to rush out the door because obviously he doesn't want her to see the black eye. So she makes him take his glasses off, and then, yo, his shit is fucked up. I ain't even gonna lie, man. Like, yo, it's not funny, but yeah, man. She said, she offered to let him stay home for school. Personally, if that was me, I would have stayed home, because I would have been embarrassed. I ain't going to school with no black eye and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, his shit got punched in, you know what I mean? So he decides to go to school anyway. And then he tries to join the soccer team. And to make things worse, it's like all the same Cobra Kai, all the motherfuckers are also on the soccer team. So he's out there minding his business, talking to Allie or whatever, and then they start fucking with him again. But this time, I think, hey, what was the kid's name? He was like the least threatening one on the team. I forgot what his name is. But yeah, he trips Daniel or whatever, but Daniel gets up and just steals off on him, you know what I mean? So they rolling around in the grass. But then the bitch-ass coach want to blame Daniel, you know what I'm saying, for starting the fight. When you clearly saw this man get clipped, you know what I mean? So he gets kicked out of PE, you know what I mean? I guess he gets kicked out of tryouts or whatever, so, you know what I mean? He winds up leaving, goes home. So the next day, I think that's when he like really gets to meet Mr. Miyagi for the first time, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to remember my scenes right. So he's in there, you know, practicing his little kicks while Miyagi's fixing the sink. And Miyagi asks him, you know, where'd you get the black eye? And Daniel lies to him, basically saying he tripped and fell. But Miyagi knew that was some bullshit. So, you know what I mean? After that, Daniel's mother meets him at a restaurant, you know, because she's on break from work. So she decides to meet him for dinner. So they're talking. And based on her position at this new up-and-coming computer company, she's a manager. Which is like, okay, so if you're a manager, you know what I mean? But it's a computer company. I don't know how it works. You know what I'm saying? I'm an idiot, so I guess. So he decides to go check out Cobra Kai right next door where they at. He walks in and he's watching them train or whatever. Because I guess he sees the teacher, John Kreese. You know what I mean? He's a ruthless motherfucker, man. So when all the students get in line and they bow to the head student, lo and behold, it's Johnny. And when he sees Daniel, he has a shit-eating grin on his face, man. Yo, you just want to punch his face. I swear to God, you just want to punch that man in the face, man. Like the grin he has, yo, it just pisses me off, man. So after that, he walks out, knowing good and well he ain't joining that school. So he decides to go home. It's late, you know, he's on his bike, and out of nowhere, these assholes show up again, you know what I'm saying? And then they, force him down the hill, and he falls off his bike, goes rolling down the hill, you know what I'm saying? So, and he gets pissed off, he gets fed up, throws the damn bike in the trash can, because I guess they broke it somehow, they busted something, the chain or something. So he, tosses it in the trash can, and his mother pulls up, you know what I mean, asking him what's wrong. And then now this part right here is where I gotta side with Daniel, right? So he kept trying to tell you, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to move here in the first place. Why do we have to live here? I don't know how things work out here in California. You know what I mean? So it's like, his mother is like, that's not fair. I got a new job, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to, make it work for both of us. You know what I mean? And I understand that too. So after all of that is said and done, Mr. Miyagi comes out of his room, you know what I'm saying, comes out of the work shed or whatever, takes his bike, fixes it. So when Daniel comes out the next day, his bike is fixed, you know what I mean? So I think he goes to school the next day and, talking to, and there's deleted scenes in between that, between him and Johnny. But I'll discuss that in the future, you know what I mean? But because I haven't seen them all. I just seen the one where I think it was like a blueberry pie where Johnny puts it in Daniel's chair in the lunchroom. Daniel sits on it without realizing it. And then he gets up, takes that same blueberry pie and hits Johnny in the chest with it. So after all of that, you know what I mean? I'm just going to go ahead and skip ahead to Miyagi's teacher Daniel how to cut bonsai trees. You know what I'm saying? So they're doing that, and his mother shows up, and I guess at this point him and Miyagi are cool now. So his mother's like, come to bed, you got school in the morning. So he decides to go to bed. So the next day, I think it skips to October, you know what I mean? So what happens is Daniel, he doesn't want to go to the Halloween dance or whatever because he knows Johnny and his boys are going to be there. But, he also wants to go because of Ali. So Mr. Miyagi says, if I make you a costume, would you go? So he wants to go as the invisible man. You know what I mean? But my thing is, you show up to a dance with a big ass shower curtain. That's what you are, basically. You're a shower. You're a shower curtain or a tub or whatever. So Ali spots him out in the crowd or whatever, and she runs over to him. And, they start talking or whatever. Everything is fine. Like, everything is fine. There's no problems at all. But Daniel kind of fucked it up for himself, man, because they wasn't messing with him then. You know what I'm saying? They was not messing with this guy. So what happens is he goes to the bathroom. He sees that Johnny's in there rolling up a blunt or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Well, not a blunt, but a joint. So he takes the hose from the bathroom, sticks it over the stall, and turns the water on and got his ass wet. You got Johnny wet. So, then he runs out the bathroom and somehow they knew it was him. Well, he gave himself away by running away. So this man's running, they chasing him or whatever. And then Daniel causes an accident, you know what I'm saying? Which is kind of fucked up. Like, cars running into each other because he decided to be stupid and start fucking with them again. So he's running through the fields and then he's trying to jump over the fence to his apartment complex, but then they catch him and start welling on his ass. You know what I'm saying? And then they almost killed him. That's the crazy part about it. They almost killed him until Mr. Miyagi steps in and starts, washing them one by one. And fun fact, the fight scenes with Mr. Miyagi, that's not really Pat Morita. That's one of his good friends that stood in as a double. You know what I mean? But yeah, he's whooping their asses. And then Daniel looks up and he sees, I guess, him in the fighting stance after he knocked everybody out. And then he faints himself. So the next morning, he comes out. Mr. Miyagi comes out. So they decide to go ahead and go to Cobra Kai. Well, Daniel didn't want to do it. But Miyagi said the only way they're going to stop messing with you is we go over there to Cobra Kai and straighten this out. You know what I mean? So that's what they do. And when they get there, John Kreese, he's over there doing his thing. And that's one of the standout scenes where he's, doing this thing. No mercy on the streets here or a competition. The enemy shows no mercy. What is the problem, Mr. Lawrence? You know what I mean? He looks at Johnny. Johnny's got the black eye, which I don't know how, honestly, because I don't remember Mr. Miyagi hitting him in the face at all. But I guess, you know what I mean? So he looks over. Johnny's scared. And then, that's when John Kreese looks over at the two, Daniel and Miyagi. So they confronting each other. And then Miyagi's telling him, your students jumped him while, they got John Kreese thinking that, he jumped all their students for no reason. But that's not what really happened. So anyway, they make a deal. They can't touch Daniel for 2 months until the tournament. So Miyagi decides to train Daniel at this point, and then he takes him over to his house, and then they start their lessons. But it's not really training in Daniel's eyes. It's just a bunch of housework. But what Daniel doesn't know is all the housework that he was doing was his training. It was muscle memory. You know what I mean? Sand the floor, wax on, wax off, and then painting the fence. You know what I mean? So all of that is muscle memory. And then Daniel eventually gets pissed off and tries to leave, because he thinking Miyagi is just using him for housework. But come to find out, Miyagi told him to, do all these different things, sand the floor, wax on, wax off, paint the fence. It was all basically defense techniques. He didn't learn any offense yet. So then he starts learning their punches and kicks and everything. You know what I mean? But one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they're at the beach and Daniel's in the water, you know what I'm saying, trying to kick and all that. But that's not the scene. What happens is after they're done with that training, they walk up to their truck, and these two racist assholes or whatever, prejudiced dudes, they got their beer bottles in Miyagi's truck. And my scene was when, Miyagi kindly asked them to remove their bottles, but they didn't. He said, well, why don't you remove it for us? One of the dudes said, why don't you remove it for us? So Miyagi did the bottle cut, like when you cut the top of the bottles off, you know what I mean? That shit was dope in my opinion. I don't think that was like, the bottles are probably pre-cut, you know what I mean? But Yo, that's a very dangerous technique if you never did it before. You know what I mean? I tried it once myself. Nah, I failed at it, but that's what happened. So they got their bottles and got the fuck out of Dodge. You know what I mean? Because they knew Miyagi wasn't playing. So, back home, they get home, and I believe at this point, Daniel, let's see. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip ahead to the part where Daniel is supposed to meet Ali at a restaurant. You know what I mean? So Johnny is already there because I guess it's some kind of restaurant Johnny goes. It's some upscale restaurant. It was Daniel. Well, no. I'm sorry, y'all. Man, it's been a while since I've seen him. I'm trying to get all my scenes in order. So there's a scene he decides to go on a date with Ali. You know what I mean? So they go to what's that place? It's like a putt place. I forgot the name of it, but you know what I mean? They wind up going there. You know, Daniel's mother drops them off there. You know what I mean? So they hanging out for a while. And for some reason, Daniel was mad. I guess it's because of the car situation. His mother's driving a raggedy ass car. You know what I mean? They got to push and then they got to pop. You know what I'm saying? Jump in the car. And I guess that's how they started all the time. I don't know, but the car is just fucked. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Daniel, he has a little attitude. And yo, I noticed too, Daniel was kind of an asshole in this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Daniel LaRusso. He's my dude. You know what I mean? But it's just like, bro, calm down, man. It's going to be all right. You know what I mean? But, yeah. So, you know, after all that is done, Johnny pulls up, you know what I mean? Offering Ali, yo, you want to go up to the hills with us? You know, your little friend can, like, Daniel's not going to join them. You know what I mean? Even though they can't touch each other for 2 months, he's not fucking with them. And Ali decides, like a real woman, she decides to stick it out with Daniel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Ali, yo. You know what I mean? So, after that, Daniel disappears for a couple of days. You know, I think he's avoiding Ali or whatever. You know what I mean? After the restaurant incident where he goes to the restaurant and then he tried, for some reason, I don't know why, but he was walking through the kitchen. You know what I mean? And I'm like, bro, this guy's clearly a kid and y'all just letting him walk through your kitchen. I know somebody saw him walking through the kitchen. So Johnny spots him, you know, at the kitchen door. And then he grabs Ali and just starts kissing her ass hard. And then Ali punches his ass in the face. Daniel falls. It's got spaghetti or whatever it was all over his clothes. And that shit had to be embarrassing. So he runs out the restaurant. And then he goes right back to where Mr. Miyagi was. And Mr. Miyagi, it turns out he was drinking and he passed out. Because what happened was, I guess once a year, he celebrates, you know, the death. Well, not celebrates, but he remembers his wife and child. You know what I mean? That was killed while he was, you know, in, you know what I'm saying, in the war, World War II, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, so he gets drunk once a year, I guess, because it's an emotional thing for him. Now, that was a notorious scene in the movie. For a PG movie, that was a very notorious but powerful scene. So, when Daniel and Ali come across each other again, you know what I'm saying? Daniel finally, you know, gets his license, and it's his birthday. So Mr. Miyagi gives him the patch that his wife created, and he puts it on the back of the and he gives it to Daniel. You know what I'm saying? So Daniel's grateful because, you know, from what I see, he had no friends in California. Mr. Miyagi was his first and only friend. You know what I'm saying? And he was a true friend too, man. Even after Daniel was a little asshole. You know what I'm saying? But, and then not only did he give him the gi, he gave him a car. You know what I'm saying? So Daniel drives off. You know what I mean? He was supposed to go home and help his mother with his cake and all that. You know what I mean? So instead, I guess he goes back to the putt-putt place because he's looking for an Ali. You know what I'm saying? So he sees her there, and then Ali walks away because she don't want nothing to do with him at this point. And then her friends tell him, you know what I'm saying, why she's pissed off at him. So he finally meets up with her, you know what I'm saying, later on in the night. And then he convinces her to start talking to him again. And this is the night before the tournament. So, yo, they do their thing, they kissing or whatever. So the next day, the final part of the movie. Now, this part of the movie right here was probably one of my favorites because it's like you get to see different styles. And I gotta say this, side note, The Karate Kid is one of the most realistic martial arts movies you'll ever watch because all the stunts that you see in these other movies will not work in real life. Trust me. You know what I'm saying? Like all the extra flashy moves and all that. Nah. But yo, and this is Asian dude. I forgot what style he was using, man. But he was dominating the tournament as well. You know what I mean? You had a dude that was using Shotokan, you know what I'm saying? And then you had Cobra Kai that was dominating, which I don't really buy the fact that they was whooping all these other dudes' asses because, well, there was a couple of dudes on Cobra Kai that was just losing every match, you know what I'm saying? And then you had Daniel, one student with Miyagi, you know what I'm saying? You had Cobra Kai with all these other students. Daniel beats half of them, you know what I'm saying? And then he finally makes it to the semifinals. You know what I mean? And what's his name? John Kreese wasn't having it. You know what I mean? He wanted old boy to break Daniel's leg, basically. And I think he did that. I'm not sure if he just sprung it or broke it, but he jumped up in the air and did that kick and hit him in the goddamn back of the knee. And Daniel went down. Yo, that was it. Like you'll be sure any regular person that would have been it. So, nah. So, Mr. Miyagi takes Daniel back there in the back. You know, he's like, yo, you don't have to fight anymore. You proved your point. You know what I mean? So, why do you want to go back out there and just, put yourself through the pain again? But Daniel said, nah, fuck that. You know what I mean? Because if I don't go back out there, they're going to keep messing with me. And, you know what I mean? I didn't prove myself to these guys. Because more importantly, he wanted to prove himself to these guys, to his mother, to Ali. You know what I mean? He just wanted to show them that, he ain't backing down. So Mr. Miyagi did his little technique. You know what I mean? Fixed his leg, but not really fixed it, but like fixed it enough so he can get back out there and, do his thing. So they thought, you know what I'm saying, like Daniel wasn't fighting, but it turns out he was. Ali ran up to the announcer and told him that, Daniel was going to fight. So Daniel comes back out there limping on one foot. Now I got to take my hat off to him, man. Like he had balls, you know what I'm saying? So it was down to him and Johnny. So Johnny was just taking him out at first, you know what I'm saying? He was taking him on, you know what I mean? Like it was evenly matched. It was Daniel, Johnny, Daniel, you know what I'm saying? So John Kreese told Johnny to sweep the leg. Basically, he wanted him to re-injure his shit. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck is wrong with this nigga, man? Yo, this teacher was bugging. So, even Johnny looked at him like, man, what? But then, you know what I mean? He like, all right, out of fear, because he ain't want to get his shit broken. So he like, okay. So I guess I'll do whatever. So, final part of the fight. You know what I mean? Daniel gets into his crane stance, which honestly, I don't think that move would have worked in real life. You know what I mean? Because if this was like, you know what I'm saying? This was a point match. So if he kicked Johnny in the face, that should have been a point deducted because it's not full contact. But somehow Daniel won the match. You know what I mean? And like every Karate Kid movie, it freeze framed at the end. You know what I'm saying? Johnny finally gave him his respect, gave him the trophy. And Daniel finally got what he wanted. You know what I mean? Respect. So, that was a good movie, man. And there were scenes that was shot in that movie or after that movie, I guess. It was like deleted scenes or whatever. And it kind of bleeds into the second movie. So, the guy that directed this movie is John G. Avildsen. You know what I'm saying? He did Rocky, a movie called Neighbors. I don't know if y'all heard of that one. It came out in 1981 with John Belushi. What's the other dude name? Played in Ghostbusters. Dan Aykroyd. You know what I mean? John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. You know what I'm saying? He did The Karate Kid Part 2 and 3. Now, this is one I didn't know he did. Lean on Me. That's another classic film I ain't seen in years, and I gotta check that one out too. Like, I know y'all probably noticed that I talk about a lot of classic films, and don't worry, I'm gonna get into some new films eventually. It's just that, yo, I love these old school movies so much. I feel like I gotta share them with y'all, man. But yeah, he also did Rocky V, which a lot of people hated that movie for some reason, but I thought that movie was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. So that's pretty much my review on the Karate Kid. So stay tuned. Next week we're going to do part 2, and then we're going to do part 3. Now, this is going to be a controversial statement that comes from me, but I think Karate Kid 3 is better than 2. Only because of the villain Terry Silver. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait till I get to that one, because that's my shit, man. Yo, he was deranged. That dude was motherfucking out of his mind. But wait until we get to that movie, man. But I'm glad y'all stuck around to listen. And right now, I'm going in on 25, 26 minutes. So, yo, we'll be back next week. So stay tuned. Peace.